Chapter 6, Lesson 2, Unit Rates. So when we talk about unit rates, first thing we need to do is know what a rate is. A rate is a ratio of two quantities having different kinds of units. Okay, so an example of a rate might be that I went to the grocery store and I paid $14 for 3 cases of water. All right, so that would be an example of a rate. So my rate would be a ratio of $14 to 3 cases, and so that would be an example of a rate. Now, a unit rate is a rate that is simplified so that it has a denominator of 1. Okay, so an example of a unit rate would be something like $3.45 for 1 case of water, because then my ratio is $3.45 for 1 case. This denominator has to be 1 in order for it to be a unit rate. Okay, so when I need to find a unit rate, basically is what I need to do is change the denominator to 1. And I use those same techniques as simplifying a fraction, and I just simplify it to get a denominator of 1. So an example, $11 for 4 boxes of cereal. So I'm going to write it as a rate, $11 for 4 boxes. But then I want it to be, well, how much is it for 1 box? That's a unit rate. And so to go from 4 to 1, I did divided by 4. So on the top, I'm also going to do divided by 4. And on my calculator, I'm going to do 11 divided by 4. And I get $2.75 for 1 box. And so here's my unit rate. Another example is 100 meters in 14 seconds. So I'm going to write it as a ratio. And then I'm going to say, okay, but then how long would it take to get 1 second? So I did divided by 14. So on the top, I'm going to do divided by 14. And I'm going to use my calculator and do 100 divided by 14. And I'm going to get 7.142857 and so on. So I'm going to round to the nearest tenth and say it's about 7.1 meters per second. When you compare unit rates, what you want to make sure of is that you have the same unit in the denominators. So you're going to have 2 different unit rates, or 2 different rates that you're comparing, and you need to get them both to be unit rates. So you want them both to have the same denominator unit so that you get them both to be 1 and they're easy to compare. So let's look at an example. We have an online music store and they're selling 15 songs for $12, and another one is selling 10 songs for $9. And which one has the lower cost per song? So we want to put our rates per song. So we want to say, well, the first one is $12 for 15 songs, and the second one is $9 for 10 songs. And I want to figure out how much does it cost per song. So this one, for 1 song, I'm going to do divided by 15 and divided by 15. And 12 divided by 15 is 0.8, or 80 cents per song. And this one for 1 song. So this is what I want to be the same. 1 song, divided by 10 is 0.9, or 90 cents a song. So which store has the lower cost per song? The first store has a lower cost per song.